What's up, guys? Let's go ahead and install some new spark plugs in this 10th gen Honda Civic with the 1.5. This is the non-SI motor. Super easy to do. If you can turn a wrench, you can do this job, no problem. Super easy. Might take you about 15 minutes to do. Really easy to do. Again, anyone can do this job. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, before I start the video, I did want to state that if you're buying these online, say on Amazon or even eBay, verify that they are in fact legitimate NGK spark plugs. There's a lot of fakes going around, so be careful of that. And as you can see here, this one is in fact NGK. It even has the QR code to scan for verifying the authenticity of the product. And here is the model number right here, ILZKAR8H8S. And you're gonna wanna make sure to check them with a spark plug gapper tool, just like this, and adjust as necessary. I did have to adjust this a little bit. They were more like 0.6 millimeters, and you're gonna wanna do 0.7 to 0.8. I did 0.7 just to pre-gap them. But again, there are the spark plugs. Definitely go with NGK or Denso. I will say you wanna do this on a cool engine. And by cool, I mean let it sit for at least 3 hours or even just overnight and just do it fresh in the morning. That way you know it's completely cold. Otherwise, you might be dealing with kind of fluctuations with the torque when installing these. So cold engine is what you want. All right, so you're gonna wanna make sure to pre-dust the engine. There is no engine cover on this engine, so definitely get out any dirt and debris. I just use my Ego Plus gardening power blower and got all the dust out. All right, so first things first, just go ahead and unplug all 4 of these coils here. Just a matter of getting under it, and you can pull them off just like that. And then just do one at a time, nice and easy. All right, now we're ready to unscrew each of these 10 millimeters here. And then I always keep them in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, just go and lay them up here at the shroud area up here, 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. And these are torqued to 9 foot-pounds, so pretty easy, pretty light. Now regarding the duration of your spark plugs, I believe Honda states 100,000 miles. I'm at just under 90,000, so I'm doing them now. It's not a bad idea, however, to check them maybe half that, maybe about 40,000, and just make sure that the gap is set correctly. And you can also check for any problems, see if there's any oil or coolant on them. They should definitely not be black or wet or anything like that. All right, just take each one of these bolts and set them aside. All right, and these will pull straight out, just like that. That's what that looks like there. There's a little rubber piece here to grab and seal onto the ends of those spark plugs there. That's what that looks like. Again, I'm gonna go and set these in order. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, this is why it's a good idea to clean the engine beforehand, just to make sure there's no dirt and debris that's gonna get dropped into here. Now, symptoms of bad spark plugs, you're gonna get poor engine performance, also maybe a rough idle. Replacing spark plugs should be done at before 100,000 miles is what's recommended by Honda. I'm just before 90,000, so I'm gonna do this right now. You can also check this halfway through at about 40,000. Remove them, just inspect them. Also check the gap on them as well. Just make sure they're still within spec. You can adjust if needed and reinstall. But again, I recommend this at about 90,000. Let's get into it. All right, and for your spark plugs, they do make a special tool for this. I just have a standard deep socket. This is a 14 millimeter, and then an extension. Just going to pop it on like this. And then from the factory, I believe these are torqued to 16 foot-pounds, if not 15. And by the way, whether to do this on a warm engine or a cool engine, definitely do this on a cool engine, because with this aluminum block, with that heat, you can really lock these in. Power tool would be good to use during times like this, but I just don't have one around me, and I'm too lazy to walk inside and pick one up and get a battery and everything, so doing it by hand. By the way, specific spark plug tool will actually have like a magnet or a grommet on the inside that'll pull these out. But again, this is just a standard socket, so I have a special magnetic tool that I'm going to use to pull these out after these are completely unthreaded. All right, grab yourself a little magnetic tool just like this. Drop it straight down. And out comes your spark plug. So as you can see here, this is spark plug number 1. It's looking pretty healthy, but again, definitely time to change them for sure. Spark plug number 2, again looking healthy as well. This one's looking a little more black on the end there, as you can see, but otherwise not terrible. And there's that one as well. Darker on the ends there, but otherwise no moisture, no oil on here, no coolant, which is great news. And this is the spark plug gapper that I have on in my toolbox. The gapper tool, I'll go and link to this in the description below. It's got the measurements and then also the gap opener as well, all in one tool. And this gap is actually pretty small. It's not even at 0.6. Again, by factory, this should be at 0.7. All right, so now it's time to install your new plugs. Again, super simple installation here. Everything is just basically in reverse order. Each one comes individually wrapped in its own packaging. Again, there's the part number right there for you. So there's the new, there's the old. Verify the part numbers match. You can see what it looks like before and after there. Again, I verified the gap on here. It's at 0.7 millimeters. We're all good to go. Here's my little makeshift tool. I got the socket, got the magnetic tool connected to the spark plug. Just going in just like this. Just give me a little spin. And you can see it actually threads in by a couple threads. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for each one of these spark plugs. Drop it straight down. Thread a couple threads by hand. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and install my extension and just go one by one. Thread these on by hand. No tools, no power tools at this point for sure. You definitely don't want to cross thread. By the way, there's a little bit of differing information. Some people prefer to use anti-seize on the threads, some people don't. I typically don't. I've actually read on these spark plugs, there's actually some sort of anti-seize already pre-applied to these threads, so I typically don't apply any anti-seize to these types of spark plugs. Adding too much anti-seize, you can actually over torque, so I'd rather definitely not do that. And what you're looking for here is just to make sure that the threads are biting. You're not putting any effort getting these in. It's spinning freely. And that just tells you that, hey, the threads are biting. You're not cross-threading in any way, shape, or form. All right, so it's definitely important to use a torque wrench. You can use a click style like this, or use an old-fashioned bending rod style like this. All right, so I'm actually gonna do a test real quick. I'm gonna do 14 with this tool, switch over to the click style, and then see if there's any difference. That's 14 right there. There you go, click. Yep, that's right at 14. Again, I'm gonna do 15, so it's 15 right there. Regarding order of torquing these down, there's no specific order. Just go ahead and do these at your leisure. Again, I'm doing 15 foot-pounds. Just to be on the safe side, but 16 is also within spec. But again, I've read 13. So it kind of makes me nervous going all the way to 16. Okay, at this point, you're ready to put your coil packs back in. Again, keep the order the same here. I've got them already in order on this cowl here. Just verify that there's no dust or debris that got on them. All right, go ahead and grab your bolts. Again, these are 10 mil. Thread them in by hand. All right, these are torqued to 9 foot-pounds. Pretty light. All right. And last but not least, let's just go ahead and plug these back in here. All right, and at this point, you are all done. Now you can go inside your vehicle, go in your vehicle settings, and then reset the spark plug maintenance reminder. Other than that, I'm just gonna go ahead and start the engine, just make sure there's no problems. Don't foresee any issues. All right, settings, vehicle, maintenance info, spark plugs. You can see 80% for spark plugs. I'm going to reset that now. All right, so we're all set on spark plugs. Next time we need to do this is going to be 80 to 90,000. All right, we're all good to go. Go back home. And regarding the lifespan of your spark plugs in the 10th Gen Civic 1.5, the user manual states 100,000 miles. I would actually say lower that to maybe about 85 to 90,000 max. Spark plugs are not very expensive, and you could be dealing with a lot of problems if you let that go over time. The gap can change over time. There can be a lot of issues that can go on. If you don't check your spark plugs, definitely do it at around 85. But again, this is how to install spark plugs on the 10th Gen Honda Civic with the 1.5 non-SI engine. Pretty easy, pretty simple to do. Pretty much anyone that knows how to turn a wrench can do this job, no problem. Links to all the tools that I used in this video will be in the description below. Definitely check that out. As always, thanks for watching. Like and comment with your feedback below. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.